Hello, everyone. Today we will watch a scene from the novel
Eredità di Sangue, Between Loyalty and Shadow. The family tests its sons, and we wish you enjoy watching.
Scene 4. The wide hall in the grandfather's mansion felt like a stone heart beating with silent tension. The tall entrance, the antique chandeliers, the chairs arranged with almost royal precision. All of it testified to a long history of power, a history ruled not by emotion, but by unwritten laws. The sons and daughters sat in their assigned places, each maintaining a cold posture, as if even the air itself was not allowed to move without the grandfather's permission. Muffled laughs, low whispers, sideways glances filled with layered meaning, until all of it was cut off when one of the servants, dressed in dark attire, stepped forward and bowed slightly before the twins. In a calculated tone, he said,
"The grandfather requests Miss Sevian." He did not mention the reason.
Sevian stood immediately. She placed her hands behind Sylvian's wheelchair and began pushing it gently forward, as if the movement were a ritual she had repeated for years. Her eyes were fixed on the grandfather at the far end of the hall, the kind of man whose single look could silence an entire room. As she drew closer to him, she noticed her siblings' whispers, quick side laughs, an irritated breath from Marco, a hateful glare from Gabriel, and a shifting glance from Ginevra. She didn't know why, but the grandfather understood. He lifted his hand slowly and said,
"Silence."
He didn't raise his voice, but silence poured over the room instantly, as if the air had frozen mid-motion. Sevian stepped forward and bowed her head slightly in respect, then said in a calm tone,
"What are your orders, grandfather? I am all ears."
The grandfather observed her for a long moment, then cast a harsh look toward the rest of the grandchildren before saying,
"What an obedient and dutiful girl you are."
No one spoke. Everyone understood the pointed remark. He gestured toward the large black piano in the corner of the hall.
"Will you play for your grandfather?"
Sevian gave a small nod and walked toward the piano with composed steps. She sat before the keys, lifted her hand slightly, and the first notes of Ainaudi's aura began to flow. The soft sound rose through the mansion's space, climbing, bending, and breaking, as if it were brushing dust off an old memory long asleep within these walls. Her siblings' expressions remained stiff. Some watched her with resentment, others looked at the floor, as though the music intensified their sense of being lesser. As for the grandfather, he sat in his large chair and listened. A small, rare smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. The piece reminded him of only one person, Alessandro, the first head of the family, the strongest that had ever carried this bloodline. When Sevian finished, silence rose again. This time, a silence of respect, or silent bitterness. The grandfather spoke in a quiet voice weighted by years.
"Those notes, they know their true master, just as your hands did."
Then he added,
"You are a pride of this family's branches, Sevian. You play the instrument beloved by your grandfather Alessandra, and you do it with mastery."
Sevian raised her head, her eyes steady, and said,
"That makes me happy, grandfather."
No one commented. But jealousy flickered through the hall like a spark that glows without being seen. The grandfather knew it, and left it to ferment intentionally.